our system is some of the tools that are available to you using the webinars, which is our opportunity in the product webinars. We're having a animated video. We have animated videos. We have a lot of things that we can introduce our people, potential people to our business. Plugging into trainings. We have the 12-week course. We have our YouTube channel, right? The standard hierarchy on YouTube. Zoom meetings. We do training on Zoom on Friday and Saturday. And then your respective leadership team, they may be doing their own individual meetings. Get all your technology, all the apps. We do one of the classes on that, SoundCloud and Zoom and the Primerica app, every app that you need in order to grow your business. And then being a field trainer with being field trained with a certified trainer. Okay. So if you're brand new, you're going to go out with a trainer. Your trainer will be licensed, skilled. They'll know how to do the business. And then if you watch them do this enough, you'll learn it. And then maxing out the field training bonus. When you're in training, you can still receive a bonus. And then once you get licensed, we pay out that bonus because we're not allowed to pay you if you're not licensed. But once you get licensed, we credit you whatever you earned in your field training. And then you get licensed life and securities. And then we already talked about the certification. Okay, so this is a picture. So where I live in Virginia, this is a very popular real estate company. It's called Long & Foster, and it's a brokerage. Okay, and there are a lot of brokerages. There's stock brokerages, mortgage brokerages, insurance brokerages, real estate brokerage. This is a real estate brokerage. And this is if he says, congratulations to our award-winning Long & Foster agents in the greater Richmond area. And this is the top producers. Now, William.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Now, the senior vice president here in the Richmond region, I guess, is this guy. We'll call him Scott. Would you want an organization like this with a lot of producers?
Yes.
I would assume there's at least, I haven't counted, but there's at least 100 people on here.
Yeah, because Scott is one of the top, right?
Yeah, he's the broker, right? Yeah. You got producer of the year, you have the top producers, you have the, outstanding sales and service winners.
A great team.
Right. Now, do you think if it was just him, he'd make as much money?
No.
Not at all. Not even close. See, your ability to hire people, to build an agency, that's where the big incomes come. You need to remember that. Everybody needs to remember that. See, everybody understands this in the brokerage business. Mortgage brokerage, insurance brokerage, real estate brokerage, stock brokerage. We are financial services technology brokerage. It's the same thing. And so that's the topic today that we're going to talk about. And remember, you don't have to recruit anybody. You don't ever have to recruit anybody. I promise you. If you just want to work by yourself, it's just not your thing. We totally get it. We love you for it. You don't have to recruit a soul. You can get licensed, you get compensated, but you get to recruit. You are allowed to recruit. Recruiting is fun, right? It brings me the most joy in our business, leading people, helping people, right? You heard Jay's story earlier. That makes me feel great. Somebody overcoming their fear, having a setback, but overcoming, getting their license. Now they have a world of possibilities. To me, it's fun. Every organization recruits, that. Every church, the military, every company, every sports team, every organization recruits. Some of you guys have been recruited by teams, by companies. I remember people would call our office phones and say, we got your number from a coworker. We're at Alliance Science and we want to hire you, this and that. They try to recruit me. Staffing agencies, right? When I was younger, I played sports. Sports teams always try to recruit our best players all the time. They would poach. And many teams, we'd play a team and we see somebody else on another team. See, in recruiting, you can acquire an unfair advantage. I tell this story all the time, right? My niece, she wanted to win a wrapping paper. I remember in school, you get to, do those wrapping paper contests. And the prize is a long time ago. The prize was a limo ride to school and a Nintendo Wii. This is a long time ago. And she wanted to win this. She really wanted to win it. And, it's fundraiser around the holiday time. And, they're trying to raise money for school. And if you sell the most wrapping paper, you got to be driven to school in a limo and you received a Nintendo Wii. And she wanted to win bad. And so she came up, and we live in a very, suburban area. There are a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of people that live here. So she said, look, this is what I'm going to do. Every day I'm going to go to this neighborhood, this neighborhood, this neighborhood. And if I get these average a day, I think this will give me enough to win. She came and consulted with me. I'm the kind of, the hustler of the family, the business person of the family. And then my niece and I are very close. So without breaking her spirit, I said, look, this is not a good idea. You will not win like this. And so but I didn't say it that way. I was encouraging, I was uplifting, I was motivating. I said, look, I have a better idea. And so she said, okay, what do you suggest? So I made copies of the form. And I said, look, give one to your mom, give one to your dad, give one to your grandmother, my mom, give one to your granddad, tell them to go to work. They go around, you tell them each to get a few. I'll get a couple. I'll pass the order forms at my office. And we built a team. And my niece won easily. Because 20 people beats 5 people or 1 people in anything, in tug of war, in sports, in fighting, whatever it is, in selling. And if I have 300 agents and someone else has 20, I'm going to make more money, just like this. And, let me see. There's some new people on here that have their videos on. Rachel, I met you last week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Remind me again, who do you work with?
International Christian Concern.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like who's training you?
Oh, sorry. No.
Shonda. Okay. And where do you live in Washington, D.C.? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess where do you work? You said international what?
Christian Concern.
Okay. And what do they do?
It's a religious freedom nonprofit.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So have you recruited anybody?
I'm still in like week 2 studying,
Okay.
and I'm on my 5th qualified meeting training. So
great. Awesome. Okay, great. So when I say this, and I'm gonna put it out there, I hope anybody that's watching or listening, I don't want to plant seeds of negativity, but I'm gonna, broach an issue here. A lot of people get funny when we talk about recruiting, right? And I did. Now, I've always been a leader a little bit. People have always kind of followed me. I was a team captain growing up. If I wanted to go to the movies, it was always kind of the movie I went to, and then people kind of followed. I was really passionate about stupid things like that, and so people would follow me. So recruiting came a little natural for me, but I did feel that I felt some sort of way when people start talking about recruiting. Rachel, do you feel like that? Do you feel like people think like that? Do you feel like that at all?
I think people feel like that. I think I'm a outgoing introvert, so recruiting is uncomfortable for me, but I talk to people pretty easily. I think it's with friends and family it's harder for me because they know me and I don't necessarily have like professional credibility with them, if you will.
Mm.
So.
And me neither. When I started, I want everybody to know this. I was a knucklehead. I was a knucklehead in high school and college. I had a 2.3 grade point average. I was the ugly duckling of the family. My other sisters were doing extremely well. They did very well academically. They did great in the work world. I was a disappointment. I was kind of living at home, bumming around, staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, playing video games, sleeping in all day. I could barely hold a job, barely get a job. So I was not hitting home runs. I was not a supremely confident person. So when I told people I was going to make $100,000 a year, I was going to build a business, I was going to be really successful, there was a lot of audacity there in me saying those things. Now, also, I had an experience in college. I was recruited into literally a pyramid scheme. Okay. And so, Rachel, this was an internet thing. And this is back in college. So I went to college, in 1998 to 2002. So I'm an old head here. But I went to college a long time ago. And so the internet was really popular. E-commerce was very popular about that time. It was really blowing up. And this was an internet company that it was a recruiting company. And if you recruited, but they masked this thing. And this is how you know what pyramids are and what legal pyramids are. Okay. The legal pyramids are still pyramids. Okay. And when you start talking about recruiting, people think, is this one of those things? This is a multi-level company. Is this a pyramid scheme? And the answer is no, we are not those things. And let me define how those things operate. They get paid the overwhelming majority of compensation when you recruit somebody. So for example, the way the compensation worked, and I didn't understand any of this stuff, but now looking back on it, the way it worked is if you got two people to pay $500, they called it a match and a match compensation, and you made $400. Now, if people bought the services, you made like $2. So the overwhelming majority of the compensation got paid from not recruiting somebody, the signing up of somebody. See, yes, I make all my money off of my teammates, but I make my money off my teammates when they sell products, not when we sign somebody up. See, signing somebody up means I'll tell Rachel, man, this is the easiest thing in the world. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to get licensed. You can just sit on the couch. You're going to make millions of dollars because all I want her to do is pay that money. And once you pay, my work is done. I don't have to work anymore. But here, the work starts when you join with our company. That's when it starts. So I got recruited into a pyramid, and later on, literally that company went up in flames and the CEO was arrested. And I said, man, so I was very skeptical when I got involved with our company. I love the concepts. I love financial services. I wanted to get licensed. I wanted to learn about money. I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a lot of money. And I knew part-time sales was genius because I could keep my job. I could learn sales because I know sales were the highest paid professions. I wanted to learn how to market. I wanted to make money, but hiring people and making money and overrides, that scared me a little bit. Just a little bit. That's just me, honestly. So I put in this last point, whose opinion matters, because when I started here, a lot of my friends, oh, that's one of those things. Oh, what are you going to be doing? And Rachel, I'll be honest with you, that affected me a little bit. But I did meet a few people that were really successful that had things that I want, like passive income. They had residual income. They had a business. They looked at the opportunity and said, man, this is great. And then I thought, whose opinion matters? Whose opinion? Now look, I care what other people think. I don't want you to think that. But at the same time, if people are not going to get informed and learn, does it really matter to me? I care what my wife thinks. I care what my kids think. I care what my close friends think. But at the end of the day, right? I was in high school. I was one of those cool kids. You did really well academically. You were a nerd. You did really poorly. You're a failure. But you were fine if you stayed right in the middle. You didn't excel bad or good. And I realized that was probably not the right way to be. And so for me personally, I wanted to excel. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to be very successful. I wanted to be somebody. And that was not happening at my job. Now, recruiting is how you begin to create an unlimited income and true security. If all your income comes from you and you get laid off, what happens? And is a job ever really secure? If a company does better, if you do worse, because revenues minus expenses is profits, and you're betting your life on working for a company where their number one goal is to keep the salaries down, and your number one goal is to make more money, and it's a reverse auction, so there's 20 or 30 people that will do your job cheaper than you. That's not a great system. Recruiters think long term, not just short term. They are building for income now and in the future. There are not enough hours in the day for you to become financially independent on your own. You can only work 10, 12, 16 hours a day. I don't care how good of a lawyer you are. You can only be in one classroom at one time. One courtroom at one time. The more people you have on your team, the more activity that will get done. More activity equals more production, equals more income. Recruiting removes your limitations entirely. The purpose of recruiting is to grow your team. It's not who you recruit, it's who you keep. The goal is to recruit serious people. People take time to incubate, so we don't run them off. It's not who you know, it's who you know knows. Your mission is to let your recruits see success fast. When recruits succeed, they stay. That's why we want to push you very hard in the beginning so you see success, clients, recruits, referrals. Everything is set up to help new recruits win. Spend time with your recruits, get to know them, become their friends. People will quit on a boss, but they won't quit on a friend. For you guys, be a skeptic and ask all the hard questions. We want you to learn everything here. We want you to learn all about the products, the compensation, how it works, how to get promoted. Keep asking until you are convinced. Without knowledge comes fear. With knowledge comes confidence. Watch your trainer. On-the-job training is the fastest and best. Become a pro. No one wants to work with an amateur. A pro knows what to do, when to do, and does it whether they want to or not. Treat your business like a hobby and you'll get hobby income. Treat it like a business and you'll get business income. Right? I remember we'd have training many days and people have work. And sometimes we do training in the evenings and they go to work and then they'd come to train, they'd miss training and I call them and I say, hey, William, why weren't you here at training? Like, oh, I was sick. I said, okay, that's cool. I said, did you go to work today? They said, yeah. And I would just kind of, give them a little bit of a, reaction and they'd feel, well, I had to, it's my job. Okay, that's cool. I mean, look, we're never gonna make it, but it just, to me, it's like, really? Like, if you were sick, why'd you go to work? If you don't take this serious at all, I want you to take this as serious as you take a job. That's all. I want you to take this serious as you take a part-time job. If you wouldn't miss working at a job, especially like a part-time job, and you miss here, what is that saying to your subconscious mind? Are you serious about this? You know, people that commit to anything, like I was like that in school. I never committed. That's why I did terrible. I did awful. You know, my wife was a great student. She showed up. She showed up if she was sick. She sat up front. She emailed the professor, I need extra help. Can me and a group of students work with you? No wonder she was successful. She was committed. Set recruiting goals, make them big. Timid goals are a waste of time. Big goals launch big activity. They stretch and challenge you. Balance big goals with small, short-term daily goals. Short-term achievable goals create a constant stream of successes that balance disappointments you will have along the way. They keep your spirits up. Have activity goals. If you control the activity, results will come. A good goal, 3 recruits. A better goal, 10 recruits. This is for the month. The best goal after 10, beat last month. Hesitation can kill you. The longer you wait, the more excuses you will think of. Start while your enthusiasm is high. There's a shelf life on inspiration and excitement. Use it or lose it. The first step is the hardest. Stumble forward. Start now or you won't be here later. Be smart, play the odds, right? Your goal, you go with what works instead of trying to reinvent the system. So listen to your trainers on how to message people, how to contact people. Be coachable. Overdo prospecting. Don't have the shortcut mentality. After every training, show up, ask questions, especially when confused. Relax, the system works. It's been proven over and over again. Race to a big income by mastering the system fast. A no today may be a yes tomorrow. Don't take it personally. It's a numbers game. The ones who hear the most yeses, the ones who hear the most no's also hear the most yeses. Even lions and polar bears fail 9 out of 10 hunts. It's just a matter of finding the right person at the right time, and you won't know until you ask. Frustration is the fuel of growth. Confusion is the beginning of clarity. The best recruits are friends. That's why we start in your natural market. Use your warm market and friend network to find great prospects. In all businesses, the best jobs go to friends of friends. Keep expanding your friend network so you have a big pool of friends to potentially recruit. Why friends? If you don't want them as a friend, you don't want them as a recruit. I don't do business with friends. Why this doesn't make sense? I had a moving company. Everybody called me. I've had other, my wife is an attorney. She's retired, right? But when she does work and she did work for people, people always, hey, can you help me? Here's the number one rule about business and friends. Don't loan money to people. Lots of people do business with friends. Don't loan money to people. Don't give things out for free. That's where you can get taken advantage of. In our business, everything's contractually written. I loved working with my friends at stupid jobs. Building a business with friends is even better. Don't let duds slow you down. People who don't believe in what you do don't make good recruits. Phonies who just want to make money just waste your time. No one will be successful if they don't believe in what we do and just want to make money. Recruits must believe and get excited about what you do. They must see value and understand its importance. The best recruits will be from the pool of people who want, need, and can afford your products. Want, need, and can afford your products. Prospect with questions. Start with a question, then listen. Have you ever thought of doing something different? Are you open-minded? Are you planning on staying with your current position your whole life? Are you locked into what you're doing? I know you love your job, but if there was one thing that could make it better, what would it be? Have you thought about running your own business? Do you have a backup plan? plan in case you lose your job? Would you consider a career change if the money were right? Would you want your kids to follow your career path? Do you want to do something great with your life? I know those questions sound a little corny and a little dramatic. Well, it is dramatic. You know, if you want to get little fish, you can use, you know, bread and a worm. If you want to get sharks, you got to use chum. You got to use the big questions. Do you like helping people? Are you interested in learning about personal finance? If you can earn an extra $1,500 to $2,000 per month part-time in addition to your current employment, would that interest you? When you make statements, it's easy for people to find something to argue with. But when you ask a question, they say it. They can't argue with the question. If you start arguing with them, you'll never recruit them. Be honest, don't exaggerate. Tell the truth, don't overpromote. People can smell a phony a mile away and they don't follow phonies. If they can't trust you, you won't be able to trust them. No trust equals no longevity. You recruit people away from where they are, not where you are. Don't build on a weak foundation. Why am I saying this? So, when I started this business, I lived at home with my mom and dad. I was 23 years old. I quit my job. We did not have an office, and we didn't operate virtually. So I used to meet people in my parents' basement where I lived. And so sometimes, like if I had a work session, I'd call somebody over. So I called Lorraine over to come meet at my mom's home, and Lorraine would come to knock on the front door. My mom would answer. It wasn't my home, right? So I'm some incredible business person. And then my mom ran a home daycare. Okay, so we had 10 toddlers from the ages of 2 to 4 running around the house, eating, using the bathroom, diapers. There was I never knew because I lived there. There was always a smell of like toddler poop, right? I mean, it smelled terrible. I never knew that because I lived there. But people would come in, they would look so disoriented. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm here they'd come in a suit, I'd be dressed up. I say, okay, come to the basement. My mom, you know, would call me, take out the trash, do these things. So it was just a weird thing. And I come and I sit with them in the basement and I tell them how I was going to be so big. I was going to have so many things. I was building a business. I was hiring people. We were correcting an injustice. I was going to make so much money. I'm so excited about this. And I was passionate. I was fired up. And I recruited more people in that basement than ever. They felt that from me. I wasn't Now, I wasn't weird. I wasn't like, hold your hand and light candles, but I was excited about it. I was fired up. I mean it. I love what I was learning. I love the self-improvement. I love becoming better. That was me. I hated my job more than anything. It was needles in my eyes. So the fact that I could get free and be somebody and I help people and get licensed and make money, I was so excited about it. And people, they believed it. And then I got an office. Okay, so let me recap. When I started, I lived at home. I drove old cars. I was broke. I was a little kid with a dream, chasing. Then I started becoming a little successful. So I got an office. I got furniture. I remember I spent, hundreds of dollars, I think $1,800 on all this nice furniture. I started you can't see in my room, but there's trophies and I had plaques and we give out a lot of stuff. So my office was lined with plaques. Most valuable person, #1, top producer, rookie of the year, all these things. My office was a shrine to myself. I started getting nicer cars. Nothing crazy till a long time, right? But I remember, my wife got pregnant, so I got her a Lexus. I'd always drive old cars because I put a lot of miles on them, and I just, I was just a very, not reckless driver, but I didn't care about curbs and things like that. And, so I thought a car was a waste of money, and I still kind of do think that, but, I pick people up. I had a nicer home. I had nicer clothes, all this stuff. And nobody would say yes to me. Isn't that hilarious? I got all these things and I'm sitting there kicking my feet up. Oh, let's drive in my car. Look at my plaque. I'm so great. I make so much money. And no one would say yes. Because here's the thing. People don't say, you don't recruit them to where you are. Always remember this. You recruit them away from where they are. See, if people love a job, they love their pay, they're probably not going to be a great recruit. If they hate their job, they hate their check, they hate their commute, they're going to be a good recruit, right? Like even now, right? Like I bring people over to my house. I have a pretty nice house. I live basically like on a resort. I got a huge pool. I got, all these things and, whatever I bring, but that doesn't recruit anybody, man. Do they hear it in your voice? Are you excited about what you're doing? Are you passionate? Now, that's not going to happen overnight. I was telling my friend Ahmad here the other day that in religion, it takes 7 or 8 new converts to convert one new person, as opposed to 85 members of a old church to convert a new person. Do those 7 or 8 people know more about religion when they're brand new? Absolutely not. It's excitement. It's enthusiasm. That's what recruits people. And I know when I started, it's not cool to be excited about stuff. But you got to find some things that you're excited about. Whether it's recruiting, whether it's the products, whether it's compound interest, whether it's retirement, whether it's saving money and then it becoming a lot of money. You got to find stuff that you're excited about. That's how you win here. That's how you recruit people. And I'll share a story at the end about this, okay? Remind me. It takes quantity to find quality, right? You want stars, but you have to sort through numbers to find them. Finding stars is like finding gold. You don't find gold just laying around. You got to dig for it. Recruit 1 and your best will be the best out of 1. Recruit 10 and your best will be the best out of 10. Recruit 100 and your best will be the best out of 100. The law of averages only works when you activate it with the law of high numbers. A recruit is not a recruit until they get a recruit. Activate the buddy system. Now they aren't starting alone. You always got to find a business partner. Everybody on here has somebody that they can find. Having a buddy gives them confidence and starts their own team. It activates the greed button. They won't quit and leave their recruit behind. It gets them going. The first recruit is the hardest. Everyone needs a business partner or needs business partners or a business partner. Working as a team increases your odds. Always do stuff with your trainer. Become a great follower so you can become a great leader. Use the most powerful leaders and the highest earners to help you recruit. The strongest system is people helping people. Recruiters talk a different language. They use terms beyond basic sales vocabulary. They paint a bigger picture with words like dreams, vision, goals, and competing, team building, fast growth, outlets, duplication, multiplication, stretching boundaries, setting records, expansion, going for number 1. Now, and I'll finish with this story. Okay. There's a book I read a long time ago. It's called The 7 Decisions. Great book. It's a book by Andy Andrews. And it's a story book. It's a very easy read. And it's just a really good book. It's a self-improvement book. It's about goals and things like that. And one of the stories they use in the book, and read it for yourself. Okay. I'm botching the story. I'm paraphrasing it. I'm not doing it any justice. Okay. I'm summarizing it. a story about an explorer, Christopher Columbus. And Christopher Columbus was, sailing to find the new world, and he sold everybody on this idea that we're going to find new land. And people were almost, I don't want to say certain to die, but it was a very hard journey. I mean, sickness, away from your family, starving, gangrene, amputation, and death, and you're just dropped in the ocean. Lots of people did not make these trips. And he sold them on hope, opportunity, that this life was going to be better, this, that. And he was so passionate about finding this new land. And think about this. Sometimes you're on the water, you can't see anything. There's storms, there's night. It's so black you can't see in front of your face. And his top people were dying all over the ship. They started getting doubtful. And they said, we need to turn around and go back. There is no land here. And he said, there is land. And we're going to keep pushing. And these are his top people. People are dying, people are sick, and he's still pushing forward. And so one day they all have like an intervention. Like, dude, this is crazy. There's no land. We've been at sea for over a month. There's no land. We need to go back. And he looks at all his top people during the intervention and says, listen, the land is right there. You don't see it? They say no. And he's looking out there. He's like, the land is right there. You don't see it. He goes, number one, if we turn back, it's certain death. We've already been at sea for 40 days and we only have 25 days of food left. So we're definitely dying if we go back. And two, the land is right there. Do you see it? And they say, no, what are you talking about? And they're looking out on the horizon. They don't see anything. He goes, you're looking in the right place. He goes, look into my eyes. It's right there. And they said that this guy was so convinced, they pushed forward. Another story, right? A book you've probably heard, you've seen the movie, or many of you have seen the movie, The Social Network. It's a movie about Mark Zuckerberg and the founding of Facebook. Well, that movie was written off a book called Accidental Billionaires. And the book is actually a lot more in detail about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. And there's a story, and I'm going to botch the numbers. You can read the book, and the book is much better than the way I'm going to tell you the story. Mark Zuckerberg had built Facebook, and they had about 100,000 members. And, or I'm sorry, 10,000 members in their network of Facebook. And they went to a venture capitalist, and nobody could understand what Facebook was doing. It wasn't making any money. But one time they said, how big do you think this could get? And he said, in 5 years, we'll have 100 million people on this. And the investors said, this guy's passion, and nothing he said made any sense, but he said with so much passion and conviction that in 5 years, they're going to have 100 million people. They wrote a check. Now, I'm not saying you need to be Mark Zuckerberg or Christopher Columbus, but you got to have some passion and enthusiasm. And if not, you will find out how successful our company. Every month we go over just my little team, the incomes, what people are doing, how many people's families are being helped, everything that's going on. You got to get excited if you want to build a team here. And remember what I said at the beginning. You don't have to build a team. You don't have to recruit anybody. Okay. Now, I took today's training to talk to you about some of the philosophies and tenets to do it, but you don't have to do it. Okay. And I want everybody to understand that. If you don't have to recruit somebody if you want to become a client, right? This isn't one of those things that you have to join to become a client and use our services, but you get to recruit. And if you want to recruit, man, The world is your oyster. There is so much gold at the end of the rainbow. So anyways, I have recorded this training.